We were seeing 24-karat gold instead of poisonous lead. Blinding them were the credit rating agencies. It was their job to warn investors about the dangers of the deals on offer. Yet, they gave these dodgy derivatives a AAA rating, the gold standard, the most secure investment you can make. Rating agencies lulled investors into the belief that because these toxic assets had their stamp, that they were a bit like gold, this stuff here. You could trade them, they were of value, they were permanent. In reality, they were worthless. The rating agencies were hopelessly compromised because they were being paid by the very same people who created all this stuff in the first place, the investment banks. The fix was in, and you and me, and our retirement funds, and our local councils, we didn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, the rating agencies made a killing.
Let him have it.
Oh, no. And lose out in the hole, he's going to walk us out of here. Ain't you, copper?
It was Big Ed. He told me to do it.
Still, even the rating agencies were just hired muscle for the real dons of the conspiracy. It was global investment banks and their financial engineers who were creating this pyramid of risk.
You know, areas of human endeavor, you get better as time goes by. You get safer bridges, safer airplanes. You know, engineers make things better. I think the financial markets is probably the only place where financial engineering actually makes things riskier. And the reason it does is that its objective is not to improve safety, it's to improve profit.
And for a while, profit they certainly did.
Soon as you wake up, soon as you come back out of the mist into the real world.
The bank changed the rules of the game.
Soon as you wake up.
Risk was no longer a danger. It was an opportunity.
Money is flowing.
They just made the biggest bet in history. In effect, we've turned the global economy into a giant casino.
People were under the delusion that the U.S. economy was sound, that we were creating legitimate wealth, and nothing could have been further from the truth.
The system was structured so that people couldn't hear the warning bells. And when I say they couldn't hear them because their ears were stuffed with money.
There was, of course, one last line of protection. It was regulation that required the banks to keep a reserve of cash in order to cover riskier loans. This rule had been in place since the 1930s and had served us all very well. But that was about to change. Now this is where it all took place. On the 28th of April 2004, the financial mob in this building made their grab. And after that, the world's economic system was handed over to the mob. There were many causes of the big bust, but the event that meant certain disaster took place at a hearing of the US regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission. It was the Commission's job to keep a lid on the level of risk in the market, but these regulators were in the pocket of the banking dons.
I feel this is a very, a very interesting time, and I think this particular proposal is very well thought out, and it sort of deals
that changed the rules was all over in less than an hour.
In adopting these proposals, the Commission is taking what I believe is a major step in a new direction.
A dark moment of history recorded like the Watergate tapes.
But if we saw anything illegal, we would tell them.
To the full extent of the law.
Very hard to make use of.
Led by Goldman Sachs boss and future Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson, the banks argued that restraints on their borrowing should go, that they and they alone could be trusted to judge risk wisely. These men personally stood to gain millions of dollars from any change to the rules.
But that means if anything goes wrong, it's going to be an awfully big mess.
Okay, I'm convinced.
This was the moment when the banks finally took over the system. It was a financial coup d'etat. After this, the banks were terrifyingly both in control and out of control at the same time. Unshackled now by any limits, the banks began to borrow heavily. Leveraging, they called it, in order to gamble on the markets. So they too became hooked on easy credit.
Everybody was playing with large amounts of borrowed money. The entire banking sector was extremely thinly capitalized for the risks that it was running. A fundamental erroneous mindset had spread through society.
Any restraining norms went out the window in pursuit of a fast buck. What you have throughout this crisis is a sense in which any restraining morals, any restraining ethics basically went out the window because of a view, if it's not explicitly illegal, it's legal.
But